button and pause recording. I think it's recording now. It's surprising.
Yeah, it says recording in the corner of my screen.
Mine isn't real clear about whether it's recording or not. Okay, so I hope that last week was the worst because there were like 4 discussions running and a paper due and all of that, and hopefully this is a little less, and it'll get a little less and a little less as we try to get more time to play around inside of Canvas. So we're not really there to the labs yet, but we're starting to get to the labs. So so do you have any specific questions or anything? The time is flying by. My God, it's just the 3rd week already. It's going to be over with.
Sure,
mine was actually, it's more of a technical question because of Canvas.
Yep.
I do travel a lot. A lot of times, it's more people just added. A lot of times I only take my iPad with me,
Yep.
but certain of the features don't work in Canvas. And I didn't know if there's a mechanism for us to report that they don't work on your mobile devices so that they can, figure out how to make them work. I know a lot of companies, if you find the right person to report to, will make it happen for you.
Yeah, that's a good question. The best group at Penn State would be inside of Yammer. There is a Canvas users group, and they love stuff like that because they're always putting forward, we have a hierarchy of how things can filter up to the people that could actually then prioritize them and do something. I don't know how much of a priority Canvas Mobile is, but it needs to be eventually because I think a lot of our undergrads would prefer to use Canvas Mobile. I try to use Canvas Mobile as much as I can on my iPad, and like you say, whenever I find something, there's some parts about Canvas Mobile I like better than Canvas on the screen, and there are other things that aren't as good or don't work at all, like you said. So if you get something like that, you can send it to me too, but if you like, or Canvas, Yammer works the same way. I think you can do, when you're posting in a group like that, you can do like @ and then put the first couple of letters of the person's name, and so you can direct it not only to a group but also to an individual. I try to check my Yammer every day to see if anyone's got any comments or anything, and so if you do that, I would see it.
Okay, all right. I'm going to look at that group for sure.
VoiceThread works inside of iPad too if you download the app, and but again, it's just different. Anytime you've got an app running inside of a tablet or a phone, it's going to be different than what it looks like in the browser.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't get the Zoom mobile to work on my iPad at all, so.
I've had relatively good luck. It may be because I'm not doing it right. I was just mentioning to Q, I think it was Q, that I'm just learning how to use Zoom now. I have a free account, and so I was trying to learn how to use it. And apparently I can't just send you my Zoom account, because then you got to log in and you can't get in. What I have to do is literally invite you, and then I guess every time that I do that, it creates a new meeting number. And so it's the meeting number and the link that are the magic thing. So I've learned my lesson now that the only way that we can guarantee that we can meet is if I copy if I invite you, I start the meeting and invite you from the meeting. Then when you click on the link, it works. And it should work quite well actually within your iPad also. In fact, I'll just get my iPad out and see. Of course, I'm not a good example because it's my Zoom, so I guess I'm going to be able to get in.
I've got my iPad right here, so we'll see.
Yeah, but yeah, you should be able to go right into it.
Because I couldn't get it to work before.
I just popped up the email and it's trying. Let's see, I don't know what you can see. So I opened the email and clicked the link. And I can give myself a name.
This is what I got.
Yeah, and I'm going to call myself
because the address is invalid. That's what I got the last time too.
Okay, now mine's working though. I don't know why. So and I'm coming in as a visitor. Of course, I'm going to get feedback now. Mute. Yeah, okay, so I'm muted. Wait, I'm hearing it everywhere. Wait. Let me turn the volume off here. Okay, so the volume's on. So I clicked, oh, this is crazy. I see myself like 6 times. I just clicked the link and it said, who do you want to be? And I just said Roy. So it seems to be working okay.
Okay. Yeah, I got the same thing I got the last time. It says, cannot open the page, address is invalid.
I'm gonna go ahead and log out of this.
So, but that could be, you know, another one of the issues that I have.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Your iPad's running on the VPN also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But sometimes it can get around it better than the other. Yeah, so there you go. Cool. What else? Hey, Dr. Mathambi, and is that Justin? Hey, Justin, are you in North Alabama now?
I'm actually in Florida right now.
Vacation or working?
Working, and I get a month home in July, so.
Yay! Very good. Very good. I was just
Justin, you can pop over and see me.
from Florida, yeah. And Q, I just put a comment on Justin's site about the OMS Army's learning management system. I was wondering, you know, if you guys get along or not. I don't know how the sergeant majors and the old Army contractors get along. Probably pretty good, I imagine.
Yeah.
Dr. Mathambi, where are you? I can't remember. Oh, your audio is off. You're on mute, I think. How about now?
I'm in Hashi right now.
Oh, very good. Very good. Well, okay, so other questions that you have. I saw all of our papers are here. I've been marking them today. I'm probably 3/4 of the way done. Of course, they're looking really good. The point of this is to get you to sort of cogitate over the last 2 weeks and pull it all together, and we've sort of done that. And some of us are falling on the side of more freedom, some more security, but the point is we're all taking very strong understanding that we have a responsibility for both. And I guess it sort of depends on where you are in the organization and what organization you're in, what you're going to focus on the most. So I think the 2-page paper did its job. It caused us to sort of draw it all together and understand it, and we can move on to the next bit then. So so I'll have those grades in there probably by tomorrow, but you know, everyone's getting a 5 so far. It's just it's really hard to criticize anybody because everybody's hitting all the points and everything, so that's all good. And I'll start putting in scores for the discussions too, but like I think it's worth like 20, and so you can get like about 1 point per time. So that's one of those numbers that adds up. So you might be only at like 5 or 6 now, but next week you'll be at 8 and then at 12 and so on. And some people discuss so much that they can get to 20 real fast. And so like they don't have to do it anymore if they don't want to. So we're not there yet though. We'll probably have a few people that are up to 10 by now. But then those are the people that like discussing. So they would do it with they got no points. So there you go, you know. Anybody have any trouble with their discussion or anything? Dr. Mathambi, I see that you keep hitting us with, darn it, you know, what is the security? What is the security? You know, it's like, I love that. It's like you're a dog on a bone. You won't let go. You're going to make us talk about that whether we want to or not. And the answer is, we don't know. I don't know. No.
I figured, especially with the large contingent of K-12, that this might be a pretty deadly issue. If one makes a mistake and allows content that's quote unquote illegal, it could be fatal.
Yeah, not only that, but even someone like Justin, if he let private information out, then someone, you know, somebody that's in some splinter group might want to go and attack some soldier, or you just don't know. People are crazy these days. You just don't know what's going to happen with, you know, so yeah, so it's all, and oh God help us, you know, it's like some porno pops up in school or something, who's going to be responsible for that, or even at work, you know, so it's a mess anyway. So
yeah, I'm sorry, and that's the issue that I don't know if Justin has the same issue, you know, but what I see is that for us, you know, part of our doctrine is we want to have everything out there so our adversaries know what we're capable of doing, so we don't have to do that.
That's good.
And you know, but there's some parts that we need to hold on to them because we want to use it, you know, in case we need to use it. So.
That's a good point. There are some things you do want out there and some things you don't. So that's the thing, is making sure that what you want out there is. It's almost like the personal learning environments and what we talked about. Should we be doing things in a public space? So that's really the question, is not should we do everything in a public space or do everything in a private space. The real thing is, let's pick. Certain things should be in the public space and certain things shouldn't. That's a good point.
Yeah.
You know, always find that's true of everything. You know, like if you say, is it nature or nurture? Well, the answer is always both. Whatever the question is it A or B? The answer is never A or B. The answer is always, it's both, somewhere in the middle. So I think that's a good life philosophy.
8.5 or minus B.5.
Let me think what's coming up real quick. I brought up let me bring up next week's and see if there's anything unusual on the calendar. Let's see. Well, yes, so 4th of July. So I think there's only one discussion, and it's chapter 2 about absorb activity. So hopefully, I propose that they do it as one discussion. The chapter is kind of long. But I want to ask you about that too. I'll finish what I'm saying and then ask you the question about the book. Chapter was kind of long, so I split it into 2, but I'm getting the moderators when they do that to try and probably just do one discussion because it just makes our life a lot easier. I don't see any papers due. Oh, wait. The peer social network paper is due, according to that, and that's real simple. It'll take you 2 minutes to do that. It's just about saying, it's like making you have a commitment. I found this to work both for the project and for papers, is that when I have a project that spans time, like the social network paper is something that spans time, I give you points for the initiation so that it forces people to do it, because otherwise they'll wait until a week before it's due and say, oh, now I've got to do it. But they needed to spend 4 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever doing it. It's the same thing with the final project. They'll think, oh, there's 2 weeks left, I better get the final project. So I make you commit. I give you a few free points to commit to what you're doing, just to sort of make sure that everybody checks in, and I can check, and if nothing's there, I can start hammering you with email saying, you haven't done this, you know, it's worth 2 points, you need to commit. So that's why we have that social network part A. It's sort of like free points just to remind you that you're supposed to be doing this and that it's going to be due at the end of the course, sort of thing. So that's another thing I want to talk about too, real quick, before I ask about the chapter is the voice thread video at the beginning. I gave 5 points for that. Why do you suppose I gave so many points for something that's just a 2-minute video?
Everybody's being quiet.
Well, let me take a stab at it. You know, it's part of what we call here the adult learning model and the experiential model, and it's sort of an icebreaker. I experienced this not only in this class but in other classes when I was with the fellowship. So it's important that we know. And again, you know, going to the chapter that we're now, you know, it talks about social networking, social learning. So we need to know each other, I guess, you know, and learn from each other experience. That's my stab at it.
Yeah. Anybody else? That's exactly right. Anybody else want to add to it? Why 5 points though? That's if you don't do it, you're almost at an A- already, you know.
I personally thought you were testing my technical skills to see if I could get the program to work.
I was. That was another thing. Because if you're going to have trouble, I want to know right up front. If you're going to have bad trouble, I want you to drop the course. If you're just going to have a little bit of trouble and I can help you, that's good too. And there is actually one other reason, at least one other reason. There may be more. What do you think? Can you think of any other reason?
It's adding a humanistic appeal to the course where now I can see a person with the voice attached to it instead of just text or just a voice.
Yeah, this last discussion we had, I messed up. I at the beginning I said let's put our initials. I should have said let's put our name, because it feels so impersonal to say AWC. What do you think about this? You know, but Q is easy. Okay, so you got it made in the shade. Q is Q, but everybody else is their initials, and it's like I think that went the wrong way. I should have gone the other way and said, put your name, and if someone has the same name, fortunately none of you have the same name, but if you had the same name as someone else, you could be like Justin R and Justin P or something. So it feels sort of impersonal, so I want to get back to that. There is one other little thing that's sort of a bad reason. There are actually 3 people who haven't done it yet, and we're beginning the 3rd week. And so it's sort of an early warning system for me of the individuals. And you need to know that I am hammering them with email. I'm not sure they're even alive because I'm not seeing any trace of them. So I've actually set a deadline of Friday, June 30th to get their video on, and gave them every possible explanation and link and everything I can to help them. And God, I hope they drop if they're not able to go in and add a 2-minute video in, between now and Friday. Because really, I want to be able to email everybody and say, we have all the videos online. You can go back now and, spend about 30 or 40 minutes and go through, and here's people you've been talking to, and now you'll see them again. You'll remember that Justin is in Alabama in the Army, and that Cheryl is in the Bahamas. I mean, we know that, but we would remind ourselves who's the teachers, who's the corporate, who's in another country, and so on. So I'm hoping that they will do that by Friday, and then I'll send an email out on Saturday that says, hey, everybody, great news. We got everybody's video, and you can go back and see the faces one more time of who they are. But it's all of those things. It's about the heart and soul of the course. It's about social networking and the community that we're trying to establish. And I really see it in the discussions. I'm hitting the CMS papers now, and I feel like I need to touch everybody's paper, so I'm all over that. But I try not to touch the other discussions too much because I can't explain it, but it sort of messes it up or something for me. It's like I can read them. Well, the reason why is I want to comment on what everybody says. So it's like, so I can't. I've got to take some sort of a ground. If I just come in on 2 people, the others might, the rest of you might feel slighted or something, or why is that comment better? And so it's like I sort of like have come to this sort of thing that I try to touch everybody in some, but almost none in the others. And so on. So maybe that's wrong. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that in the from the student perspective, that is also true, because I remember for the rest of the group that is here, this is my 2nd class with Dr. C. So in the first class, I think that something of that dynamic that you just explained happened with us, even though we know each other now and we consider each other very good friends, but okay, do I feel like relegated because I am not participating now, or my way of expressing or whatever, so it's possible that in the students also feel that way that you just explained.
Yeah. I that's it. Yeah, it's the distance. It's the transactional distance is so great in an online course that we reach out, and so there's that sort of like the power differential, because I'm the instructor, and I'm trying to write that down by using my name more when I'm commenting. I need a hat that says peer, and another hat that says instructor, and another hat that says evaluator, because they're all very different roles, and sometimes they contradict each other. Really.
Yeah.
True.
Well, any other things I can help with? I really feel like this is going to go so fast. I really feel like we're making really good progress, and I'll remind everybody to check their grades. And if it looks like, there's not that much to be graded yet. There's the video, there's the CMS papers, there's the social networking paper part A, and there's interaction. So that's all there is. And so, so that should all have some sort of a number after it, around soon, within the next couple of days.
Just, oh man, what's going on here?
Getting a lot of email.
Move that. All right. The webinar that that happened yesterday. How do I put this? You know, I know that for some time, I guess in the graphic design, they went, you know, from, okay, so we can do this now. And we started with the bevels, and we started with the shadows and all that. And now we're going back to simple designs. Is that, and I guess Windows 10 is also taking that approach of minimalistic, I guess. Is that a word? You know, so that's pretty much what I observed yesterday. Is that a correct observation, that we need to, you know, keep it simple for obviously for the students or the learners, or am I wrong on that?
I think I have a comment on that, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
My brother actually was the vice president of the life sciences division for Microsoft, and I spoke to him afterwards because, of course, he would know who Ellen is. And I asked him almost a similar question, like, it seems like all of a sudden we're like reverting back to these like base models. And he said, you have to remember this. It's like fashion. It's going to change. So even though she attributed it to a specific generation, it's not really generational. It's the fashion right now to be very minimalistic. And it's that way in architecture. It's that way in everything. And he said right now they're designing life science products that are very simple. And he always has to say to himself, this is because of fashion, because it could do a whole bunch more. But people want minimalistic right now. But it will change. He said, give it 10 years and it'll be different.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that explains the Army too. The Army, their fashion is wearing fatigues, right, and dress. So that's perfectly aligns the idea. That's a fabulous metaphor of fashion. That in the Army, you're going to have a certain fashion for your PowerPoints, and by crackies, you better make it look like they expect it to look, or they're going to call you about it. Yeah, I see Justin saying, "Yep, that's right."
Yeah, here at the academy, we have to follow certain format. When we design or review classes, we have to follow this specific format, this specific PowerPoint template. If not, oh my God.
Yeah, we follow the same rules that Q has to follow, and it's like one person sees that it's not within that format, and you're one slide off, it's not good.
Yeah.
One thing that might be driving it, I have to wonder if it's the kids using their cell phones now. You know, your screen is this big, you know, and so it's like you can only get a certain amount of stuff on a screen that size, and the font has to be a little bit bigger. I know they look at little tiny print that I can't even read on a cell phone, but maybe that's driving, you know, everything, things like that influence other things, and they have that knock-on effect. So maybe that's part of it too.
Yeah, yeah.
One other thing that concerns me too is I think we're getting away from a reading culture now. I think the kids don't like to read, and I think they're not going to have to read in the future. It seems like all the software is going in the direction of you ask it what you want and it tells you out loud. So I don't know what that means for us in the future, but it's not necessarily predictable or even a happy occurrence. I don't know. Well, the other thing about the webinar is I wasn't sure if it was going to be good or not. I almost wish it would have been worse because it would have given us more to talk about. Sort of the point of it was to find out how we can do better. But, you know, they had professionals who, the voice at the beginning had a great voice, and the woman was pretty well known, and the stuff she said was very straightforward, and she did a real nice job on the visuals. And wow, the people were so talkative. I mean, they were just talking and talking and talking. And so it was very, you know, so from all those points of view, that was all good, you know. And so we have to say, well, how can we, if we have to do a webinar, if Roy has to do a webinar, what can I learn from that so that I can do a better job? And so that's sort of what the online discussion over in the Canvas Sandbox is. And I went out to the site to see if the recording was available for those who were unable to attend, and it said not yet available. So as soon as the link is available, I'll send it to them, because they're not going to be able to discuss it until they've had a chance to see the video of it, the ones, you know, who weren't free then. We actually had Ray come in from the Philippines at 4 a.m. I thought, boy, that is that's hardcore if you're getting up to watch a video about PowerPoint fonts. So
that's his thing, though. If you've ever seen his YouTube instructional videos or any of his, because he's very big in the Philippines, there's a lot about him on YouTube. He's, you know, he's got a huge digital footprint, but he's PowerPoint. He's like, that's his thing. So if you go to any of his training things, you'll see it.
That's cool, Cheryl. I didn't know that. That's cool about Ray. Okay, I didn't know that. And cool about you that you followed up about that too.
Actually, I was in another class with him, and I tend to Google everybody at the beginning of the class.
It's like going out on a date, right?
Just checking out who I'm in the class with. You can't be too careful. Never know, giving out your information to people. Security, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, we're taking responsibility for our own safety. That's right.
So
we probably only have about 5 minutes left, so we'll go ahead and whatever else you have. What'd you say, Q? Sorry, I interrupted.
I was going to say, hopefully mine is, you know, being a musician out there. So that's it.
Now you're all going to go Google me, right?
I'll go Google me first.
What do you mean you haven't Googled yourself? That's like a thing that this generation does. They Google themselves.
I have not, but now I'm curious of what's online.
You have to go Google yourself.
Yeah, that's funny. I remember I was teaching a course at Abingdon to teachers, and it was when the internet was brand new. And so one of the activities we did was we looked ourselves up on Google. So the teacher types in her name, and it comes up with her home address. She almost had a conniption fit. It's like, oh, no, how do I got to make this go away? I said, I don't know what to tell you. I can't make it go away. All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you, I'm having fun. Occasionally, I'm out of pocket, but I try to get on Yammer every morning. And I hope that you're enjoying it and learning things, and more importantly, that it's meeting your needs, whatever they are, you know, professionally and so on. And please don't hesitate to ask me for help, because I'm not, you know, I'm not like not accessible. I'm accessible, and I'm also willing to help, because what happens is if you've got a problem, probably other people are having the problem too, and they're not letting us know. And it may be that I know the answer and can fix it real easy. It may be that someone else in the group knows the answer and can fix it. So, you know, that's how we work, is we all support each other. But we can't do that if we don't know what's going wrong. So I'm just assuming everything's hunky-dory because I'm not getting any complaints or anything. So that's how it goes. Well, let's call it a wrap, and I'll save this file and distribute it to everyone once it's had a chance to process and everything. And there's nothing earth-shattering in the video, but it was fun talking to all of you.
All right.
All right, go Google.